I spent 25 plus years going in and out of prison. I have a record of drug sales, DUIs, forgeries. The average person would never get out of jail.
I could never get high enough, never. You're not high if you're still eating and sleeping and you're still working. I could do $1,000 in a night. Most people get sick after 100. I was one of those people that would say there's no shame to my game.
And I remember a car passing by with people in it laughing loud and said, "Crackhead!" And I literally looked around and wanted to know who they were talking about.
And I had a dealer who, he said to me, "Why are you doing this? Why are you killing yourself like this?" And he just threw some at me and said, "Get out of my car, don't ever call me back." When drug dealers tell you don't call back, you're at that limit.
I've been told that I was a menace to society, that I was incorrigible, that I was insane. No one wanted me around. I had no idea the pain that I was going to cause.
I had a functionally alcoholic family. Everything revolved around alcohol. We were allowed to drink at home. At 11, we went to Washington State to visit family. There was a party, and I decided, well, I'm going to empty everybody's glasses. And my parents didn't want to bring me home to my grandparents, who were very religious. I spent the night with my aunt and uncle, and my cousin during that evening molested me.
My first introduction to drugs came when I was in college. Just the freedom of being away from the rules and regulations of school and wanting to experiment and wanting to be my own person, kind of crazy, wild, and fun. Went to the next thing and the next thing, and things just spiraled.
I was only 3 credits shy from graduating, but I didn't even finish high school. During that time, I met my first husband. We drank a lot, and I got pregnant. I was the fun kid. In high school, they called me Sarah Stoner because I came to class stoned all the time. In fact, I smoked pot with my English teacher in high school. She only asked me not to come to class drunk.
I actually flunked out of college because of drugs and alcohol and ended up becoming a drug dealer because of the connections that I had, and it became very lucrative. Once I found that I could start making a little bit of money, then I wanted to be that big Scarface type of guy. And as time progressed, it turned around and bit me in the backside. I became my best customer.
And I drank a lot, and I got into some legal trouble, was asked summarily to leave Washington State. I moved to Michigan and met my second husband. I actually left him for another man. I wasn't faithful at all. I had all the symptoms of a practicing drug addict.
I ended up going to the streets, and I found myself doing more and more illegal things and getting myself into more and more illegal activity. And then before I knew it, I was using those proceeds to support my drug habit.
You know, I spent years trying to feel normal with either a person, a place, a thing. My spirit said, this is so wrong. My soul was screaming, it's wrong. I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, my body craved it. But I knew that it wasn't going to end well.
I was in a hotel room. I had a friend with me. I had money, alcohol, I had drugs. I had everything that I thought I could want at that particular time. But I found myself looking in the mirror, and I didn't like who I saw. Things didn't make me happy. I just wanted to end it all. And I can remember breaking down, crying like a baby, because I wanted to change, but I didn't know how.
For Christmas, I'm smoking by myself. I missed my daughter's wedding. She told me, "Mom, it's okay. We didn't really want you there." That was defining. Like, I finally chose a drug over a loved one.
The only person that accepted me was my mother. And I remember going knocking on her door. "Ronnie," she put her arms around me. "Look at your son, come on in. Go upstairs, get clean, let me make you something." Cleaned up, came down, ate, went back upstairs. She said, "Go get in my bed and sleep." When I woke up, it was the following day. And I looked down, and there was rings there. And it was my mother's wedding band and an engagement ring. The only thing that she had from a 25-year marriage. I thought for a quick second. I snatched those rings, put them in my pocket. I was gone. Took the rings, sold them, got high. Within an hour, I was broke again, with no place to go. So I ended up back at my mother's doorstep, Same process. She opens the door, she welcomed me in. She says, come on, baby, get something to eat. You look hungry. And on my way to the kitchen, my mother spun around. And she says, Ronnie, have you seen my rings? And I put my head down. And she says, son, I knew you took them. She said, but it's all right. Baby, you must have needed them more than me. The next time I knew that I was locked up, my mother had died in a hospital. Because of my extensive drug history and criminal history, the judge said he wouldn't let me go to the funeral.
I got up and I was living at the brook and I walked up that hill to that church, shaking. I was still high when I went to church. I don't know what made me go. I said, God, what are you doing? Hope was the first thing I felt walking up that hill to that church, and hope was the first thing I felt getting on that bus and going to that meeting. Once a person gets off from the drugs, gets back on their feet and starts feeling good, more change and scarier change has to happen. Rock bottom became my foundation. Using drugs and abusing drugs and alcohol is about me. And I'm not created for me. I'm created to love others. And I can't love anyone when I'm high.
I started writing a book I was challenged to. I found that I was able to see me in a selfish state. And when I seen myself for who I really was, that's when I changed.
My mess is now my message. There's life beyond any diagnosis. You're more important than your circumstances. Work with what you have at the time. Great things can come out of small beginnings, but ultimately it's your choice.
The name of my book is titled Choices. I speak to high school students, college students, because that seems to be the age where I progressively got off track. And if they can see my life for where I was at and see the end result and then decide for themselves that's not the road I want to go down, then I've done my job.